It is Chaemiko against Mikael here in the Yule Cup 2021 Season 1 playoffs. Quarterfinals. South Korean derby, just like we saw a moment ago, between Sok and Focus. There, one of the humans dropped out already. Chaemiko, can he represent the Alliance as one of the last people remaining? Or is it going to be Mikael, the legend, formerly known as Lucifer? Our next best of 3 kicks off on Echo Isles. And we have Mikael spawning top left in the blue, playing Cribbity Crip Lord. Unsurprisingly, almost everyone does nowadays. Almost all the undeads have moved over to playing Crypt Lord first against human, with Happy being pretty much the only exception to that rule. And yeah, it has been the bane of the humans for quite some time. Sok was able to defeat PCG fairly convincingly in the group stage, but of course PCG not quite of the same caliber as Sok or Mikael for that matter. Chaemiko starting off with a Merc camp. I always like this opening. I think it's pretty beneficial and perhaps the better openings in almost all cases to go for the Merc early, get level 2 fast, and get the mercenaries to be able to defend easier and, more importantly, counterattack. Because the Crypt Lord will be attacking, will be harassing the peasants, will be killing some peasants. There's no way around that. But the human wants to hold on, minimize losses, and be able to counterattack at some point. And that you can pretty much only do well if you have the mercenaries. So Mikael didn't go for the Expo creep instantly, which is a little surprising. We also had a little channel points bet going on, by the way, between who's gonna win. And seems like the majority is saying Mikael. 68%. Almost nice. And Mikael, after the expansion, is not being aggressive, but respects Chaemiko's defensive potential early, and is just going to creep to level 3 and get the mercenaries himself. That's pretty interesting. Ring of Regen and Ring of Protection for the AM. Not good for him at all. Later for the MK, kind of nice, but would have preferred some damage here. Very good scouting, by the way. The first scout footman for Chaemiko is still alive. Always checking out what's going on and making sure the human knows where he's gonna have to be. Seems like there's a little ghoul run by. Heading north, heading towards the main maybe. As the expansion is coming up. Crypt Lord level 3, AM level 3. Not gonna finish creeping the Berserker. He wants to be in position to defend against the big attack that's coming in. It's a scary attack by Mikael. He's got 2 Mercs, level 3 Crypt Lord, a lot of beetles and ghouls. One ghoul gets taken out right there. Expansion is gonna finish almost at the same time for the 2. A little bit faster for the human. Can be very difficult on Echo Isles to defend both bases at the same time. The expansion and the main for the human. Very often we will see the Crypt Lord and Beetles harassing in the south with just very few ghouls. And then like 4, 5, maybe even 6 ghouls hitting the main at the same time. But here it's pretty manageable for Chaemiko so far. There's no ghouls in the main. There's no big attack here yet. I think Chaemiko hasn't lost a single peasant yet, which is outrageous. That normally never happens. Chaemiko can go for a second Shadow Priest now. I think it should be off cooldown. And that will help against the beetles, just for simple piercing damage. Solid early so far by Chaemiko has been deflecting these attacks pretty easily. It's of course important to tech up quickly as well, along with having a solid defense, because the tier 2 timing of Slaughterhouse and Sanctum and so on, especially second hero, is going to be impactful. And we see, wow, Chaemiko even has the faster tech. This is basically the perfect early game for the human here so far. But you can never get complacent. If your attention starts slipping, suddenly there can be ghouls in the main, build at the expo, 10 peasants dying, and suddenly you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Pendant of Energy for the Crypt Lord, of course, very nice. Especially later on, to combine that in synergy with the mana potions. Mikael is looking for holes. He's looking where he can poke and do a bit of damage to Chaemiko, but Chaemiko has just simply taken no damage so far, which again is unbelievable. Normally, the humans suffer heavily in this matchup, especially early game. Gonna get the cancel on the blacksmith. That's nice. Finally something going Mikael's way. Although Chaemiko should be able to rebuild it somewhere else, maybe with a power build. Or just rebuild it there again. He wants the blacksmith to be able to set up a workshop on tier 2. Make some gyros. Later on, make some mortar teams. Very few footmen for Chaemiko, by the way. It's not like he lost a lot, he just didn't make many. Which is interesting. Very unlike most fast expanding humans. Could make a lot of sense though. Since you're going up against an expanding, soon to be tier 3 undead anyways, who has Crypt Lord. Footman normally not the most impactful, and Chaemiko saving a lot of resources there. Although, he doesn't seem to have a lot of resources right now. 700 gold, 100 lumber. On 2 base economy is not that much. Maybe even started as tier 3 already. Second heroes should be joining soon and should of course be a little bit faster for Chaemiko, as earlier we saw the human tech being a little ahead of the undeads. The transition to fiends begins. Mikael hardly ever plays necro wagons. I'm not sure if I've ever seen it from him. There we see the tier 3 having started on both sides. Slaughterhouse and so on coming up. In the middle they're fighting for the Ogre Magi. Mikael didn't want to give it away. Still up for grabs. And Mikael's going to grab it with a nice impale. That hits the human army at the same time. 1 of mana stealing for him. Pretty nice. Level 4 for the AM. Also good. The downside of playing Mercs early on, like creeping Merc Camp early on, is you won't have it available for the Mountain King. So it's not very easy for the MK here to creep level 3. He can do it with the green and the Murlocs and the Gargantuan. But it's not as easy and as swift as with the Merc Camp. Oh, Griffin Aviary's coming. Ooh. Chaemiko trying to move into the ultra late game army. Griffins can be very good if you get to a critical mass at 70 plus supply. Triple Griffin Aviary it is. But it's also pretty dangerous if you get caught out of position, if you get forced into a fight before you're ready against fiends. It might not work out too well for you. Nice borrow by Mikael, saves the fiend, and one of the rare mistakes here by Chaemiko, he did not buy a dust. And this is a difficult mid-game also when playing Griffins. You have no tier 2 army to contest the undead for a long time. Mikael is making use of that weakness, exploiting it nicely here by taking these creeps away. Chaemiko though did finally get a dust. He was at the shop with the MK. Maybe even got an invul potion, which would be a big help. Go with a statue here now for Mikael. Chaemiko has to play very passively. Chaemiko with his Griffin strategy gives up all map control for a long time until he finally has all his Griffins. But they are coming actually out pretty quickly. Chaemiko is not banking for too long. He's going into upkeep fast with these Griffins and upgrading them as well. Very important to upgrade the Griffins. 0-0 Griffins, very bad. But if you get them up to 2-2 or 3-3, pretty strong. Paladin's joining the party, and so here's the Lich. MK finally got his level 2. But he needs level 3. He needs level 3 for level 2 clap against the Fiends really badly. So he's gonna need to solo creep the bottom right camp. The good thing is, with Griffins, you can creep this camp super easy. And I think this is a bit of a creep route mistake here by Mikhail. Creeping passively in the bottom left. I think he should have continued to be aggressive and stolen this Gargantuan away. But Chaemiko is allowed to creep the camp and is now gonna get level 3 MK finally. Which is very needed. Double ring, triple ring on the MK, which actually for him in this late game is good. Oh, and a Pendant of Energy. Hells yeah. Very good MK inventory. Mikhail is moving in. He morphed the Destroyers. Wants to come in with a big attack. It's not many Fiends. It's only 4 Fiends. I don't think that's enough anti-air here to deal with these Griffins. Lich getting focused heavily. But there's an Invul. Protecting the third hero. Nicely done. MK now eats the nuke himself. But he's got the Holy Light. He's got the Invul potion as well. He's going to survive a little bit longer. And the DK is actually taken out right away. No Invul on the Death Knight. That one is killed off. No more coil. No more aura. Mika's going to have to TP out. Loses 1 more Fiend. Loses 2 more Fiends. And that was a wonderful hold by Chaemiko. I think Mikhail absolutely was not expecting those Griffins. If he was, or if he had expected them, he should have had more Fiends. And also Banshees. Banshees with anti-magic and curse are very good against Griffins. Possession cannot be used against them. Because possession doesn't work against air units. But the other 2 abilities, very good against Griffin play. And now Chaemiko may have finally arrived in the late game. In these high supply numbers, Griffins can be good. If the Mountain King can control the ground with Clap, controlling the Fiends, the Griffins can win a fight. This game is looking good for Chaemiko. Chaemiko pausing the game. He's probably wondering if Mika is AFK. Which is not BM. He's genuinely trying to be a good sportsman. Mika was creeping. Oh, and he's got double A-bombs. He probably started those before he saw the Griffins. Because A-bombs, of course, not what you want to have against the magic damage of Griffin Riders. MK eats the nuke again. But there's Holy Light. There should be an invuln, I believe. Cryptlord is just getting focused and almost killed. Coil comes in, just barely in time to save him. He's chasing out the hero still. Stormbolt, Cryptlord dies. And that should be the game. Mikhail is trying to fight on a little bit longer. He webbed a lot of these Griffins. But the hero folk is also scary. The Griffin damage plus the nukes. Holy Light and Stormbolt, definitely very powerful. Chaemiko's going to play it safe. He's going to TP out before losing too many Griffins. Takes out 1 more Fiend. And Mikhail, in fact, has a big army still left. Bigger than Chaemiko's. So good hold here by Mikhail. I thought that might be curtains right away. But the high Fiend count and the Lich plus DK hold Mikhail in the game. But of course, the Undead lost the expansion, so it's way easier now for Chaemiko to reproduce. He's getting more and more Griffins, and can probably also get 1 or 2 more upgrades. Invuln pots, very important here. And seems like Chaemiko's going to get it again. Oh, 3-0 upgrades on those Fiends. No wonder they're doing so much damage to these Griffins. Frenzy Ghouls moving out of the main. The little ghoul run-bys, we see them more and more nowadays. In a straight-up fight against Griffins, of course, they wouldn't do too much, but they can be effective at targeting weak economy lines, and we have no guard towers here anywhere. But Griffins are expensive. Very late game tech. Very resource heavy. So Chaemiko, even with this good game that he's been having, from like early game to late game, he's been having a good game. He's still not quite up, fully maxed out at 80 supply Griffins with all those upgrades. Chaemiko sizes up the army, considers whether he wants to go in there or not, and seems like he's not sure. 7 Griffins is honestly not that much. Oh, he left a water elemental behind. I love that. But in we go. I think 1 or 2 more Griffins came in. Clap against the Fiends. As I mentioned earlier, very important to slow down the movement and attack speed of the Fiends. Limiting the damage. Also making it easier to take them out. Couple of Fiends dying. Couple of Griffins dying. Pretty even exchange here so far, it seems. Nova hitting as well. Lich is now level 3, so the spells are coming online. The hero levels on both sides quite powerful now. MK level 4. AM, though, you always have to be careful about the first hero. That one is very squishy, easily gets lost. Mountain King, Paladin didn't go for Divine Shield, so also that hero has to be careful. Chaemiko needs to play this very carefully, has to pay very close attention to his heroes to keep them alive. Heal potion here helps out the Paladin, but now the Lich in trouble. Coil is on cooldown, and the Lich is taken out. Chaemiko does it very well, sees the Lich out of position, notices the Coil is on cooldown, goes for the hero kill, kills off the Lich, and that is the win for Chaemiko. On map number 1, anyways. Good game by him, super solid. I like the early mercenaries. Wasn't concerned in the early game at all. He got a super fast tech, wasn't harassed and damaged early, and so was able to afford the very expensive late game tech of Griffins and played it really well. A couple of mistakes by Mikael that game, especially not creeping the Gargantuan bottom right away. That was the biggest mistake, I think. And maybe just the opening build might not be the best. Going for the level 3 creep route and only attacking then, when the human has already finished building his expansion, maybe that's not the best. But he didn't even try. He had 2 mercs, 8 ghouls, level 3 crypt lord at some point. He could have gone in to look for damage, but he just didn't do it. He just was kind of staring Chaemiko down, but never initiated the fight, which may be the right choice. Maybe if he goes in and he's just going to lose too much, fall behind, lose initiative, and then get very damaged by a counterattack. But with Crypt Lord and the power of beetles and skeletons early, you really should try to abuse that strength and damage the human economy. And whenever you don't, that is not the best way to play that strategy. On most maps. Maybe on Terna Stand, it would be really hard to do damage early, but on Echo Isles, it should actually be pretty doable. But yeah, anyways, Chaemiko wins wins the first map, and Mikael now has map choice himself and decides to go for Last Refuge, which is very surprising to me. I feel like this is, in my opinion, after Terna Stand, nowadays the best map for human against undead, Last Refuge. But Mikael likes the map, wants to play it here, and very, 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 very likely play Crypt Lord again. Mikael vetoed Amazonia and Terna Stand. Terna Stand, very understandable, but also vetoing AZ because he doesn't want to play DK Fiends. He hasn't been practicing that for a long time against human. And it's a little, well, let's be honest, it's a lot more micro-heavy than Crypt Lord Beetles. Crypt Lord Expo. Chaemiko vetoed Concealed Hill and Turtle Rock. So Last Refuge will be our second map. Will this be the 2-0 for Chaemiko? His human brother Sok fell just a little bit earlier. The winner of this game will be moving on and play up against Focus in the next round. Will it be Chaemiko with a 2-0, or can Mikael tie up the series? Let's find out on Last Refuge. Last refuge. Chaemiko bottom left. Mikael top right. Chaemiko loves playing MK first. I still think it's pretty horrible against Crypt Lord. On Terranos it's doable, but everywhere else I think it has a lot of weaknesses. Is he gonna do it though? No. Archmage for Chaemiko. Mikael is gonna go 99.9% Crypt Lord. Indeed, it is Papa Roach once again. There's a really strong creep route here that human can go for, which is creep the Merc camp first with the Rock Golem pull, go for the Shadow Priest right away, get a lot of experience on the AM, instant level 2, and then go green into expansion. And that's level 3 right away, which is comparable to Echo Isles. But unlike on Echo Isles, on Last Refuge, you can aggressively creep camps away from the undead very effectively in the early game stages before the second heroes come out, and then the mid game can be very difficult for the undead if the DK doesn't have any camps left to creep. In addition to that, in the very late game when the third heroes arrive, there should always be camps left as well for them to creep, which is very beneficial for a paladin. Also for a lich though, of course. So it's going to be a lot about expansion timing, tech timing, creeping, and economic damage. Mikael killed, I believe it was one single peasant. That whole game on Echo Isles, that was unbelievable. That is not good enough on this level. You have to do more damage to Chaemiko, who starts off with a wonderful item. He finds the hilarious Flute of Accuracy. Bonus damage, which is going to be wonderful whatever army he goes for. If he goes Griffins, it's amazing. If he goes Breaker, Mortar Teams, Gyros, it's really good. Just if he goes Mass Knights, then of course not going to be so helpful. But normally against Crypt Lord, you don't want to play Mass Knights anyways. A couple of Knights, maybe, but not too many. Because if you do, you can get punished too hard by Impale and Nova. Oh, for the last hit. I don't think he got it. Very good scouting here again by Chaemiko, and always moving the footy very well, back and forth. You don't want to get that footy surrounded, you don't want to gift any free experience to the Crypt Lord. Especially on this map, you want to have every bit of fighting power as well, once the battling starts, which should be sort of with the level 3. Level 3 reach for the AM. Finishing the camps a little bit faster with the power of Militia. But the Crypt is also going to get his level 3 here. Oh, Chaemiko could get a cancel off the expansion. I think he should have seen the timing with the footy. But he's actually continuing to creep. This is sort of what I was talking about earlier. Aggressively creeping camps away from the undead side can be really good. If you steal this merchant away, if you steal the green camps close to the undead expansion away, and if somehow you manage also to take the lab away, then the DK will have nothing left to safely creep on tier 2. It's very hard to manage all those things that I just described, but if you do happen to achieve all of them, it's very strong. Beale's moving out, and so is the Crypt Lord. AM got the 1 of Mana Steal, which is really good right now. He's definitely going to use that against the Crippy. By the Telestaff to get back in position. Or get out of surround, I suppose. Oof, that is a lot of beetles. Expansion will finish, but this time some peasants should certainly be going down. But again, Mikael doesn't want to commit too hard. He sends in the skeletons, he sends in the beetles, but there's not too many ghouls. He's not committing deep with the mercenaries. And the 1 of Mana Steal, very nice. 2 charges used right away, 100 mana drained out of the Crypt Lord. I don't think we saw a single Impale yet. And now, the AM is level 4. Tech is faster for Mikael, but Chaemiko should be able to follow up with his own tech here soon. He's got almost 200 lumber. And then tier 2 should start. I would love for Chaemiko to be aggressive right now. Use those footies and mercenaries and push either the expansion or the undead main. He knows the Crypt Lord is super low mana. And somewhat soon, maybe he can even go for a second Berserker. But Chaemiko also wants to make sure he's protecting his economy. Doesn't want to lose peasants here at the expansion, which is understandable. He wants to keep up in tech. Because his tech hasn't started yet. And starting to become very noticeable. Undead tech already underway. It's of course the economic advantage for Undead early on. They have a lot more lumber usually. Because they don't have to pump so much into the power build of the expansion as humans do. But this is one of the few power spikes that the human has where they are clearly stronger than the undead. And Chaemiko now has map control. What's he going to do with that map control? He could use it to creep camps away, like I said. The green camps outside the undead expansion. Or maybe the lab. Or he could just straight up push. Attack into the expansion or the main of the opponent. Just passively creeping. I feel like is not completely ideal. I think I could have done a little bit more with his map control. But alright. Chaemiko is not taking any risks this game. Neither map 1 nor map 2. He's just playing passive. Trying to make sure he's got a tight build, a tight economy. And is hardly ever applying any pressure. AM, great experience already. Look at that. 4.5. He's going to be level 5 super soon. And he's going to have these level 3 water elementals early on, which is going to be a big help to hold off against the fiends which will be coming on tier 2. And hold on until the tier 3 for the human finally arrives, which is going to be still quite a while. Would have loved for Chaemiko to go up onto the lab high ground there for the undead and steal that away. Maybe by a Shredder or something. A Zeppelin, I mean. Shredder he did buy at his own lab. And now Chaemiko is going to push, it seems like in earnest. If he gets a couple of kills, maybe 3 ghouls, that could be enough for his level 5. He does have a weapon. Oh, beautiful impale. It's only level 1 though. Bodies have defend. They're hard to take out, especially with a Zeppelin here. And that's level 5 AM. That is very powerful water elementals right now. And Chaemiko can now apply pressure. First time he's really trying to put the screws on Mikael. He's going to be fighting with the tier 2 hero at disadvantage. The DK comes out. The MK is still pretty far away. But the Mercs and the early high-level AM is really powerful and hard for the undead to deal with until there's a bigger army. Once Mikael has like 60 supply, he can push this back fairly easily. But that is not the case yet. Oh, Chaemiko's going to TP out already. I think he could have done more there, but okay. He's going to get back to the shop. And heal up nicely. MK should be out any moment now. Then he can start creeping his second hero. I believe I just saw a glimpse of the Griffin aviaries again. This AM might get to level 6 this game. He's been getting so much experience. MK comes in, and now there's a serious kill threat on these fiends. With the Stormbolt stun and the damage of AM plus water elementals, fiends are quickly taken out. Level 1 DK only has a couple of coils to use. After that, the fiends will die fast. Mikael's in trouble, I think. Although it comes down to how effective these griffins are going to be. And how well Mikael will be able to counter them. You should really scout for those griffins again. And if they are played, you should go into Banshees. I don't understand why he didn't go into Banshees earlier. Oh, double slaughterhouse. Okay. He wants to go into destroyers. Of course, destroyers can't be attacked by griffins as they are magic immune. But they also don't do a lot of damage against griffins. Destroyers, that is. Chaemiko diving deep, killing a couple of acolytes, killing a couple of fiends. I certainly hope he rebought the TP. Pretty sure he did. Otherwise, this would be pretty suicidal. Oh, the DK! Mikael doesn't look very closely with his second hero, but he gets him out of there just barely. AM getting focused now next. Trying to kill off the DK. It's not going to work though. And will have to TP out. It was a bit of a donation to the undead. Lots of mercs going down and footmen. Some acolytes and a fiend was traded. But it's not about trading extremely efficiently. It's just about buying time for the griffins to come out. Slow down the undead. Distract the undead from pushing themselves. Because at around 70 supply, when the undead has the statues, maybe banshees and a couple of fiends and decent hero levels, the human can be in big trouble. And right now is the timing where Mikael should attack. He shouldn't wait until there's 8 griffins with tons of upgrades again. He researched web earlier. We saw that already against the Zeppelin. Yeah, it seems like the push is going to be coming in now. Chaemiko, if he can hold on for 3 more minutes, get a lot more griffins. He's not looking in a bad position. But at the moment he only has 3. Chaemiko is not ready to fight yet. He wants to delay. And he wants to get a few more creep camps. Mikael also getting the red camp over here. Destroyer's morphed. And that is the big timing. This is going to be very hard for Chaemiko to hold. 2 arcanes at the expansion are going to go down very fast against these destroyers. Chaemiko's going to try to creep the red camp, save as many peasants as he can, and then TP back to defend. He's going to need to call a lot of militia from the main to force back this attack. And this is the problem of the mass Griffin's strategy. Takes very long to come online. And Chaemiko just goes for a counterattack. I like that play. He's trying to force back the undead. Oh, and that's gonna work pretty easily. Takes out 2 acolytes. Oh, no, it didn't work. It was a fake TP. It was just a telestaff. Smart play by Mikael. Fooled me as well. Chaemiko decent heroes now, although not outstanding, and still only 4 griffins. This looks like an impossible fight for Chaemiko. Five griffins now. Is that enough? He has no way of dealing with the destroyers. He has to kill everything else and ignore the destroyers. No orb of fire yet, so the coil still very effective. MK with the clap in the bag against the fiends, though, also doing a good job. Militia coming in now from the main. Couple of fiends being taken out, but also same is true for the griffins. Still no mining at the expansion. 2 beetles over there killing off all the peasants. Doing a good job that way. Crypt Lord almost surrounded. He doesn't have a TP, by the way, here, the Crypt Lord. Fiends almost all dead. But also griffins, I think, have actually all fallen. Mountain King almost out of mana here himself. Another impale comes through. Peasants are getting slaughtered. Mana's very low now on the human side. Statues fall very quickly to the griffins. Oh, but the heal ward now. Extremely valuable to have. Mikael said with 61 supply, 67. Chaemiko is a lot lower, and Chaemiko is on the verge of dying. Impale. AM. Ooh, in trouble. Has to transfer the invuln potion and use it as well. But Chaemiko's army just simply isn't existing anymore. No more griffins left, pretty much. Level 3 paladin, finally the level 2 holy light. Uses it, but the paladin might be dead himself. Indeed he is. Impale, Colnova, GG is called. And that's the 1-1. Decent game here again for Chaemiko. Early game creep route was decent, but unlike Echo Isles, he didn't have the same tech timing as he did on the first map. The tier 2 much later, the tier 3 much later, the MK came out way later than the DK, and the Griffins didn't quite have the time to come online. That's why it's so important to have proper tech timing. But even if you're behind in tech, there are ways to play from that deficit by exploiting your strengths and exploiting your map control. I think Chaemiko didn't do enough with his mercenary army. When he reached level 4 AM, and when he scared away the Crypt Lord, and Mikael had no mana, I think he should just attack right then. Take your footies, take your AM and Mercs, and attack the expansion or the main. Doesn't really matter. Probably the main, because usually there's fewer towers at the main. But I just kept on creeping very passively. He crept his null camp, he crept the enemy merchant, which is something, but if you're going to go creeping, I think you have to be more greedy than that. Take out his lab, take out his merchant, leave nothing for the DK. But I think it would have been better to just attack in the first place. Of course, easy for me to say. I have nothing to lose. I'm not in that position with some sort of anxiety, worried that something might go wrong. You might lose all your units and suddenly you lose the game because you made that wrong call. But I think it could have been beneficial. Anyways, we're going to go to a third deciding map here, which I think is what we all want to see. And that is going to be Northern Isles. A map where if it's completely standard versus standard, so fast expo versus fast expo, it can be really tough for human to hold on against the Crypt Lord pressure, because Northern Isles, no mercenary camp, no easy level 3 AM creep route, and very easy Crypt Lord expansion into an attack. But most recently, a lot of the top humans have been playing Northern Isles differently and have been playing more harass heavy, with a bit of creeping first, get level 2, and then be aggressive. And that has looked quite good at times. We've even seen some things like power build on the altar to get the AM out a little bit faster. So there's still a lot of innovation being done there. So I'm interested to see what Chaemiko is going to show us here. Of course, these players had a lot of time to prepare for this match, so they probably worked on some very elaborate openings. And I'm looking forward to see what that is from Chaemiko. Thank you, by the way, to Schneesen with the 11-month resub. Much appreciated. Map 3 is going to start in a second. And then after that, we're going to be halfway through with our matches today. We have 4 games in our quarterfinals. That makes sense, right? We're going to have Lawlight versus 15 Sway after, and 1-0 versus Soin as the last match of the day. On paper, those games certainly seem a little one-sided, with Lawlight and 1-0 being the big favorites. But 15 Sway and Soin had a lot of time to prepare. They're coming in as the underdog. Maybe they can surprise. Especially Soin has been looking really good recently, also in this group stage. But now we again fully focus on our game at hand. Chaemiko against Mikael. Map number 3, the Decider on Northern Isles. No power build on the altar, but the altar pointing south, which means we're probably going to see a Tuskar creep, which I think is the right way to play this map. I think if you just go green into expansion and try to counter-expand, you're already at a deficit against the good undead. But with a bit of AM power play, heavy creeping early on and then try to punish the undead, can work out very well, but it's not 100% reliable. If the undead perfectly defends, these aggressive maneuvers shouldn't work out. But if Mikael makes a couple of mistakes, not getting the last hits, losing ghouls, Not making enough ghouls. Not bringing the ghouls in time from the main. Not hitting the surrounds. Things like that. Then this game can spiral out of control in favor of Chaemiko. So a pretty tense situation, especially for the human. He knows he's going to have to execute very well here to get out of this early game in a decent position. And he knows if Mikael plays it perfectly, he's probably going to lose. Gonna summon a second water elemental here. It's an important choice to make where you use your mana. But no, Chaemiko's just gonna use the one here at the first camp. He could be aggressive right now with the IM. Or he could go creep the green, call the militia again, creep the lab, and that's level 3 then. Seems like that will be his choice. Good item for the AM. Mantle. And the Scroll of the Beast. That one popped at the right time. Can make a big difference. Oh! He's doing neither of those things actually. He is, after all, not playing aggressively. He's just teching now? Oh, he is. Really? Okay. Sentry wards for the human. Chaemiko could also call the militia and creep the green at the same time as he's harassing. That would give him level 3. Oh, and that's what he's doing. Okay. I kind of like that. It's nighttime as well. Chaemiko can go for a telestaff here to get out of surrounds. Okay, this is pretty cool. This is a cool build. I haven't exactly seen this one before. IM's going to have the level lead over the Crypt Lord, who's not quite level 3 yet. But he's pretty close. I would love to see him bait an impale here on the IM because he has the telestaff. I think Mikael figured it out, and Mikael doesn't expand actually. He's gonna go for the tech instead. And what's the tech time difference between the two? Noticeable, but not massive. And that means the MK is gonna be coming out first, and then the tier 3 is going to be starting first for Chaemiko before Mikael. And that puts the human in a good position, I would think. Chaemiko would be forced into a different strategy here, playing one base instead of 2 base. On 1 base, you certainly cannot afford Griffins. Oh, the sentry ward also wonderful for him. Places the sentry at the expansion. So for the next 3 minutes, he's going to know perfectly when that expansion will be coming up. Which might be now. Good movement here by Chaemiko as well. He's lurking around, threatening a creep jack. He knows the Crypt Lord isn't level 3 yet, but this camp might be enough. I think it should be enough. Ah, no, not quite. He's missing just a little bit of experience. 1 water elemental kill would be enough. Like that one right there. But that means the expansion is cancelled. And Chaemiko could even kill the tower. I think he should just kill the Nerob. That's what he's gonna do. There's one Acolyte here for repair, but that should not be enough. MK coming out. Double Sanctum. No tier 3, apparently. Scroll the Beast popped here to finally take out this darn Nerob tower. That is going to be successful. Acolyte also killed off. Crypt Lord is finally level 3. Maybe a bit of a waste on the Scroll of the Beast, but better make sure you kill off that tower. So I would say, I guess, good use. Double Sanctum and a blacksmith. Very interesting. AM has been getting great experience after this camp. He should be level 4, which is always wonderful to have, that early level 2 aura. Could also go for a Shredder here. Chaemiko does have the resources for that. If he's stuck on tier 2 though, against Cryptlord, it's not a feels good, man. Good creeping here from Mikael as well, making use of the strength of the Cryptlord. Just the Cryptlord and level 2 beetles can take a lot of camps. Sentry ward still active down there in the south, so Chaemiko knows what's up. Impale, taking out a few more footmen. Against all of these beetles, the footmen not so effective anymore. Chaemiko definitely needs D-spool, which he should have now. As Chaemiko is deciding to stay on tier 2, he's going to have to expand very badly, which seems to be the next move here. It's going to be MK level 2 and AM level 4, probably. Breaker's coming out. I like that. It's going to be able to steal beetles soon if he researches what's it called? Control magic. But it's gonna be very hard for Chaemiko to reach tier 3 this game. Control magic is starting indeed. And always there's a scout bottom right at the expansion. I think it's a footman now that Chaemiko is parking there. He wants to know if there's an expansion coming up for Mikael. If there should be one, he will try to cancel it. And always great scouting. Either AM scouting or footman scouting. Something's always keeping tabs. Oof. I want to be careful with that AM though. But he's got the tele staff. And he's got a parry up of vitality, which is actually really, really nice for the AM. So he doesn't get nuked into oblivion too easily. Tier 3 should be pretty much finished for Mikael. Yep. Can go for the orb now. The Lich is queued. And that timing is not going to be able to hold probably for Chaemiko. It's taking him so long just to kill these damn creeps. The expansion hasn't paid off yet. The Breaker army still very small. And the damage output for the human is extremely low. He's going to have to rely on his Mountain King pretty much for the entirety of this damage. I wonder if he intentionally let the creeps summon so many skeletons to get the bonus experience. He probably did. It's pretty smart. Lots of ghouls now with the army. Level 4 Crypt Lord. Destroyer, Fiend, Statues. Powerful timing. Powerful 50 supply for Mikael. Chaemiko, is he ready? He doesn't have the level 3 MK yet. That is certainly not a promising start. AM is going to have to TP out of this, or yeah, Invul Potion would have been a waste. AM very hurt already. Needs to be very careful now with his positioning. And I wonder if Chaemiko shouldn't have tech tier 3 instead. Maybe that would have been the better choice. Expansion now coming up for Mikael. He's not going all in here, but he's trying to do as much damage as he can. Impale Nova connects. That was the last Impale though, for a little while. He just stole the healing ward. Mikael's not realizing it. He's not realizing that the heal ward was stolen. With control magic, you can steal heal wards. Cool play by Chaemiko. And Mikael, perhaps not aware of that interaction. Mana potion, next Impale, heavy focus on the Mountain King. I'm not sure if he has the invuln. Chaemiko holds, pushes back Mikael. Seems like the human is going to stabilize here on his 2 bases. Stonebolt on the DK, doesn't quite get the surround though. More Watch Elementals going down, MK in trouble again. Healed scroll to get him out of dodge. The heroes for the undead though, very strong, and if the human isn't on tier 3 himself, there's hardly anything that he can do about the heroes. Fields being stolen. They can of course also be dispelled by the destroyers. MK back from the shop, he got a few potions. And Chaemiko is getting some kills. Takes out the statue. Healing up more, and now Mikhail's expansion is standing. Goes for the TP. MK's having a tough time catching up. He doesn't have boots. But he would probably want to go for the invuln if Mikhail didn't steal it, which it seems like he didn't. And this is what I was talking about. If you're going for this tier 2 expansion, you're always under pressure. You always feel like you need to either be attacking or defending with everything you have. And you hardly ever have the chance to go for tier 3 anymore. Great attack here by Mikhail. Taking out the peasants, a few of them at least, and distracting from his own expansion. Stonebolts surround, sticks, but there's a TP on the DK. Or it's in the Crypt Lord now, I guess? Wait a minute. Transfers to TP. Alright. A little bit scary there for a moment. But Mikhail gets out. And now he's powering up into a very strong army. If Mikhail gets up to like 4 A-bombs, I don't think Chaemiko can do anything about that if he's only on tier 2, which he seems to be solidly locked into. This might be the push to decide the game. If Chaemiko doesn't win with this attack, he's probably going to get outscaled in the next couple of minutes. Oh, the AM again getting focused right away. Does he have an invuln? No? Yes he does. Okay. DK getting surrounded in the meantime. Mikhail wasn't looking over at the Death Knight. He was going all hero kill himself, but didn't consider his own hero. Impale again. Going for the AM once more. The priests need to heal as much as they can. Lich didn't have mana for the Nova. Mikhail going for the Tavern Revive. He does have the resources, but he's out of mana everywhere. Mountain King with a Stonebolt. Finding more kills. Should be getting close now to level 4. Again, Mikhail trying to run away. Trying to make use of the aura and distract from the expansion. But another statue falls. Fiend almost going down as well. Surround almost on the Crypt Lord. MK is dropping low though. Clab coming through. He gets the next hero kill as level 4. And the GG. The win for Chaemiko. The 2-1